From KGW News, this is a special edition. The Good Stuff.
We've been trying to do our part by keeping our distance and wearing our masks when we come in.
Soaking up the sun with safety top of mind. Hey everyone, I'm Brittany Falkers, and welcome to The Good Stuff. Well, summer is a busy time for local parks, but some areas are seeing more visitors than usual. Joe Ranieri explains how people are taking precautions while still having fun.
At nearly 100 years old, George Kent
I'm still here on the right side of the turf.
loves nothing more than being active.
I had to give up tennis and downhill skiing about 3 years ago.
Instead of speeding down a mountain, he's taken up pickleball. And that's the only time you'll see him leave the house is to come out here.
I wear a mask and I stay away from people, do the social distancing, and don't go to restaurants, kind of stay home.
At George Rogers Park in Lake Oswego on Monday, it was packed with families trying to find a little normalcy this summer. At the same time, stay safe.
Honestly, very tricky. We've been trying to do our part by keeping our distance and wearing our masks when we come in. If we're able to keep 6 feet apart and feel comfortable, then we can remove the coverings.
Erin Thakadam brought her family out to the river early. She makes sure her 7- and 5-year-old know playing outdoors is completely different this year.
We've talked a lot about the importance of staying away from others, keeping them healthy, as well as keeping ourselves healthy.
The amount of people that have been heading out to parks along the river in Lake Oswego is staggering this year, according to Ivan Adnerholm, who's the director of Parks and Recreation for the city of Lake Oswego.
We've seen an increase probably in the neighborhood of 300 to 400 times what we would normally see along the Willamette River this summer.
He says they have park rangers making sure people are paying attention to the rules that are laid out across the state.
We're approaching people that are not physically distanced or are not wearing masks under the new requirements, asking them to do so.
It's those rules George Kent wants people to pay attention to.
Wear masks and follow the rules.
That's the key to having fun outside right now, and it is a good idea to check your city's park and recreation website before you head out, just to see what's open and what's closed. Well, on Facebook, we asked you about your favorite thing to do in the month of August. Many of you, that means getting outside. I'm right there with you. Alan Hendy loves to hike to waterfalls with his girlfriend and his dog. Really great hiking companions you got there, Alan. And take a look at this one, adorable photo from Sarah Cartier. She enjoys hanging out at the Clackamas River and checking out wildlife. And look at that little cutie in her life jacket. Send more adorable photos. I can't get enough of them. And oh my goodness, what a view. Anna Maisie, this is Anna Amazing. She sent this picture of a sunset at the beach. Takes me right there with you. And finally, Jason Lambert says, backyard cookouts over the fire pit. I can almost smell those hot dogs. Ooh, and he's doing the twist thing too. That's a creative way to make a hot dog on the fire. Backyard cookouts over the fire pit. Keeping your photos coming is what we want to see. We're going to share them throughout the show. Just text 503-226-5088. Well, an August tradition, the Oregon State Fair is going on actually right now. It's been held at the fairgrounds in Salem almost every year since 1862, but this year it's happening virtually.
So this is an opportunity to have fun in the comfort and safety of your own home. Not the same, but a good alternative. We do offer fair food on the corner of 17th and Silverton Road, so people can come and have a corn dog, have their fair favorites.
I was a 4-H kid all through my youth, so I know how important these fairs are. Now, the fair's CEO tells us that they will still offer tickets for next year. We want to tell you about the good work of 2 local moms. They started a nonprofit that provides essential items to kids in our foster care system. Christelle Kumwe has more on Project 48.
Like, we can do this. This is, if there is a need, we can fill this.
Tanya Daniels and her family have opened their home to foster children the past 8 years.
We've taken in probably close to 40 kids in the last 8 years, and it's just been an incredible eye-opening journey for sure.
The journey showed her the hardship kids go through as they come into care.
The shape of belongings that came with them, this continual pattern of kids coming with literally nothing.
What she saw prompted a desire to do more.
And what if there was a way to just give these kids something to take into this new placement to sort of ease that transition.
Tanya asked that question to her best friend and twin sister, Brandy Memory.
And I said, well, then why don't we make it, like create it? Let's do this.
The sisters launched Project 48 in October 2019. The nonprofit provides essential items to kids as they come in or transfer within the foster care system.
Bags full of brand new clothing, shoes, toiletries that are age, gender, culture appropriate, and either a backpack or a duffel bag for them to be able to take with them whatever they need.
Project 48 works with multiple organizations, including DHS, to meet the needs of foster children across Multnomah and Washington counties. They have so far delivered hundreds of bags to kids in foster care, but COVID-19 has affected their operation.
Access to items has been really challenging for us with having so many retail businesses not operational right now.
While COVID-19 has slowed things down, Project 48 is determined to get those items to kids.
That's the goal, is that they feel seen and loved and known and valued by us.
Just allowing them to feel like someone cares about them enough to provide something for just them.
When Tanya and her husband became foster parents, they didn't plan to adopt, but that changed 4.5 years ago.
These little identical twin girls were waiting at Randall Children's Hospital to have a foster parent take them home, and they were 2 months premature and severely drug affected.
They took them in and eventually adopted the twin girls.
It's been sort of the best journey since then.
The twins joined the couple's 3 biological kids, making for a busy household where the doors are still open to foster kids.
Way to go, ladies. This is just awesome. And you can go to kgw.com for more details on how you can get involved with Project 48. Pretty cool. Well, still ahead, a Washington baking brigade helps people in need during this pandemic. Much more on the Passion Project that's benefiting communities. Good stuff. A huge boost for a program that teaches Oregon middle school students how to manage their mental health. The National Institutes of Health awarded it with a $1.5 million grant. Researchers at the University of Oregon developed the program, which is called Attune Ed. The grant will help them adapt the current curriculum to an online format for remote learning.
A significant portion of both students and teachers have a history of trauma, and you could certainly think of the pandemic as an active, ongoing, chronic traumatic experience for a lot of people. We picked middle school students because it is the age at which school becomes particularly stressful. It's the #1 stressor among the average middle school student.
Attune Ed is a pilot project. Teachers at Lincoln Middle School in Cottage Grove have been using the curriculum for the past 3 years. A quick reminder here that the KGW School Drive is going on right now, and so far your donations have helped almost 400 students. That is absolutely awesome. Now, you can't drop off supplies in person, but you can buy them online at kgw.com/school. And this week, when you give at any branch of On Point Community Credit Union, On Point will match your donation. So thanks to everyone who's helped it out. Well, what started as a Facebook group has turned into a community effort to help people in need. Dozens of bakers in Washington rising to the occasion to bake bread for food pantries. Chris Cashman takes us to Kirkland.
Catherine, what's going on in your garage?
Oh, Christopher, I'm glad you asked. We are in the process of supporting our volunteer bakers for our Community Loaves project.
You're making that sound simple, but you have organized an army of volunteer bakers.
Yes, a brigade. We launched this effort to connect quarantined home bakers who have found a passion for bread baking with an organization that had started maybe 3 years ago called Northwest Bread Bakers. We started with 6 pioneers, and then that grew to 12, and so on and so on. And using a little mapping program, I was able to see, okay, you guys are right next to each other. Would you mind dropping off your loaves at your neighbor's house? We've evolved as the process has grown. We're now up to 95 bakers, and we have 7 official neighborhood hubs.
Do I recognize one of those displaced College
Yes.
students in the background
Yep.
acting as the muscle/delivery.
Yes, so that's my son Ben.
I am breaking down this 50-pound bag of flour into 10 5-pound bags of flour so it's easier to package for delivery.
The local food pantry that we're supporting is Hope Link. They have 5 pantry locations from Seattle to the east side, and they are supporting 3,000 families a week and pay it forward and help some of these families who've never experienced food insecurity before.
Bread looks super, super tasty. Now, the Northwest Bread Bakers hold weekly info sessions on Zoom, so anyone interested in volunteering can learn more on the group's Facebook page. Well, the pandemic isn't only impacting us, it's also affecting bird behavior. Volunteers are helping local researchers track the changes. But first, more of your pictures showing your favorite activities to do in August.
FergusonShowrooms.com.
Welcome back to The Good Stuff. We've got an exciting update on the Oregon Zoo's newest red panda cub. So cute. We now know it's a boy. Veterinarians did their first examination of May's 6-week-old baby. Zoo staff haven't named it yet, so if you plan to go to the zoo, you won't actually be able to see the baby yet. Zoo staff are giving mom and the baby a lot of time together in the maternity den. The zoo says May has been a terrific mom so far. They're just the cutest little pair. I will never apologize for gushing over cute animals. So sweet, I could watch that all day. Well, hey, it looks like the southern resident orcas are expanding. Researchers say that J35 is expecting. Now, that name might sound familiar. She was in the national spotlight just a couple of years ago when she lost her calf and clung to it for over 2 weeks. It's rare for calves to survive, so researchers are cautiously optimistic.
Those whales, the females themselves, as well as their unborn calf, in great danger, actually, if they don't get a good steady supply of a lot of fish. Boaters need to give these whales full space, especially now that we know that at least a couple of them are pregnant.
Orcas, of course, are considered endangered, and the Orca Network is starting a campaign to educate boaters about how to help them survive. Let's stick with that animal theme here, shall we? Researchers are trying to figure out how the pandemic is impacting bird behavior. Galen Etlin shows us how you can help.
That our worlds have become much smaller.
Olivia Sanderfoot loves birdwatching. She's a graduate researcher at University of Washington in Seattle on a new adventure.
I collect data that would help us better understand how air pollution, which is changing during the pandemic, is impacting birds. But I could also give our community something productive and positive to do during this very challenging time.
Since April, 300 volunteer observers, mostly in Oregon and Washington, have sent her team surveys about birds they're seeing in their neighborhoods using the app eBird.
Or is this new? Is this bird here because there are fewer humans out and about, or because noise pollution or air pollution is down in my area?
People have been noticing a lot more wildlife around them.
Bob Salinger is conservation director for the Audubon Society of Portland. It set up a similar program called Backyard Bio Blitz.
To raise awareness that we have incredible wildlife in our neighborhoods, to gain some understanding about that and to promote some stewardship.
And that information is really valuable.
Dr. Kaylee Swift studies bird behavior and teaches at University of Washington. And her specialty is crows.
It's not just that they're big and they're everywhere. It's that they honestly do a lot of really cool things. They play, for example. They problem solve.
She presents around the region, and an event originally set for a Portland theater is now going virtual on Zoom this month. She covers crow behaviors, from using tools to crow communication, even crow funerals.
What my study in particular looked at is whether or not they might use dead crows as cues of danger, as ways to look in their environment and go, uh-oh, something happened. And we found some pretty compelling evidence that that definitely feeds into their response.
More observers these days may mean we're just seeing what we didn't pay attention to before, but it's a good learning experience for those now tuned in.
It's very normal for a young bird to be on the ground learning to fly, for example.
I think that birding is one of the best ways that we can connect with the natural world.
Olivia Sanderfoot says it's too soon to identify trends from her UW study, but plans to repeat surveys next spring to compare the data. Fellow researchers like Dr. Kaylee Swift encouraging you to join the cause.
It just enriches these pandemic days that we are all living in right now.
I do have to say there is something so calming and majestic about bird watching, and there's more details about how to get involved on our website. We have also posted a link to the Portland Audubon's Facebook group, so check that out. Well, there's more good stuff ahead. We're going to travel to SAUVIE Island for a slice of summer fun. Welcome back to the good stuff. Hey, let's head to SAUVIE Island. Rod Hill is going to show us all of the fun things going on there this summer.
We're here on the Multnomah Channel getting to know SAUVIE Island. Of course, part of the attraction of this, what I'm going to call country retreat, is the river itself. If you didn't know, SAUVIE Island is the largest of the islands connected with the Columbia River, and it's actually one of the larger river islands in the entire United States.
You know, if you don't like being on the river, a lot of people drive to the island on the weekend to enjoy some bike riding through the country.
We're a fifth-generation farm. We've had it since the early 40s. I'm the fourth generation and my daughter's the fifth. It's great picking, it's very easy, and it's a good time to try to learn how to can, and also a lot of people wanting to make jam this year.
Oh my gosh, that is so sweet and delicious.
Whenever I'm out here in the orchard and I'm working and it's a really tough day, but just a little kind of something special happens, it just feels like my grandparents are here with me, and I think that's the most special to me.
I want to say the pumpkin patch is world famous because of that huge maze we all know and love, but the store has many treats, especially this time of year. I don't think anybody's home. Looking in the window of the historic James Bybee home, this was built in the 1800s. Mr. Bybee was one of the first Multnomah County commissioners.
It's gorgeous. We'll be back, definitely. We want to explore more of it. Next time we're going to bring our dog.
You know, I've always wondered about this. Well, that's our show for now. My adventure is just beginning.
Oh no. Didn't expect it to end like that, but gosh, there are so many things that you can enjoy on SAUVIE Island. And when Rod took a bite of that peach, it made me so jealous. A peach over the grill, try it, it's delicious. Well, you can check out more of Rod's travels over the years by searching for Rod on the Road at kgw.com. Thank you all so much for joining us. Remember, keep on sharing the good stuff. Send an email to thegoodstuff@kgw.com or text 503-226-5088. We're going to close off with more of your Facebook responses about your favorite things to do in August. Make it a great night, everyone.